Yeah. So brutal loss. You know, you can't let your, credit St. John's, those guys, man, they're just so relentlessly competitive, and they were tougher than us, especially down the stretch, of that game. You know, we obviously shot ourselves in the foot, quite a bit there. But just our inability to guard the ball, Posh Alexander just absolutely, destroyed us. Off the dribble. And then in both the first half and the second half, we allowed two guys, while doing a pretty good job on Champagne, you allow, Wusu and Erlington to get 25 points there. It's going to be pretty hard to win. So we were brutal defensively guarding the ball. We were brutal getting out to the 3-point line in the second half. And then obviously, just the free throw shooting down the stretch, and the lack of ability to put them away when we had chances, up 8, up 9 in the second half, up 14 in the first half. So just a brutal loss.
Dan, you talk about the job he did on Champagne for the first 38 minutes. He did score about 5 points down the stretch, but you took him out of the game for the most part, and other guys beat you.
Yeah, I mean, we usually do a good job of that. Our focus was to get to him. He got most of his stuff at the free throw line. There on some unfortunate foul calls. But really, you can't, Posh, who, you got to credit Posh. I mean, he came in, I'm not sure what he was shooting from three going into the game, but to go 3 for 5 from three and to just dominate our guards down the last 10 minutes was the difference.
Changed in your 3-point shooting game? You were so good early in the game, and then basically that you weren't taking many threes, and you certainly weren't making many threes.
Yeah, obviously we need a lot more production there, from the guards. RJ did most of his damage early. Early, probably the first 10 minutes. And we just, and I think, Tyrese gave us enough. Obviously, the free throws were critical, and the missed layup at the rim late were huge plays. But yeah, I mean, we need more production from a perimeter, especially when they went so small the last 10 minutes. We couldn't play Adama.
Talk about the play of Adama. He really had a breakout game in this game today. And then obviously, was it also that Tyrese was playing well offensively in that final 12 and a half minutes?
Yeah, I mean, we need more, than 4 for 11 from Tyrese with James out. We're going to need better than that to win Big East games. But, you could see, some of the promise there with Adama. He probably, should have had 16. Had the 2-point blanks, but you could see the hands, you could see the touch. It just was unfortunate that they played so small and they were making threes in the second half. So, going zone and keeping him in, just wasn't an option. And then there was no one for him to guard in man. But yeah, I mean, he's probably the only good thing that happened today.
Dave, or just
Yeah, no, I was going to ask about Adama, and obviously not playing the last 12 minutes or so. Like you said, it was just really kind of a matchup issue more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, when Champagne or Ellington's at the 5 for literally, I don't know if it was the last 10 to 12 minutes of that game. And Champagne's a player of the year candidate who's a wing, and Arlington was lighting us up. So the only options then to play him would have been to put him on one of the guards, which it just it put us in a bad spot there, because I think we would have kept trying to throw the ball inside and to him, because he was really the only person that had it going.
Any other questions for Coach? Dom, go ahead.
Yeah, Dan, what are you seeing? What have you seen from Gaffney? I know you had a rough game today. What does he need to do to kind of get back in the mix and get more involved when he's out there?
You talking about Gaffney?
Yeah.
Is that what you said, Don?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can't afford, him to not play better. He's a, core guy, first recruiting class guy. We're now back-to-back games where he's played less than 12 minutes, especially with James out. We needed like the big, with James out, without James out, we needed the big second-year bump from him to make this thing work, especially with James out. Now we're desperate to get improved second-year play, but he's got to get out there and do it. He's got to believe in himself. He's got to get out there and make plays. We've got to get more production out of him. Obviously, we got to get more out of Brendan. You gotta. We can't have we play close to 40 minutes of gameplay between two guys, and you get two made field goals. You just needed more. We needed more.
Danny Barletta.
Yeah, Dan, both losses this year have involved missed free throws. Obviously, that's brutal, but is that one of those things you can't really, there's not much to do about it except, continue to practice them?
Yeah, I mean, that's, there's no, that's an individual thing. That's a routine. That's having the nerves and the confidence to step up and make them. It's having a routine. It's breathing. It's wanting to be there. But yeah, I mean, we went in a time where we still should have been able to close that game out, a tight, 1, 2, 3-point game. We were like 1 for 2, 1 for 2, 1 for 2, 0 for 2. I think Brendan was the only guy that stepped to the line and made 2. So, yeah, I mean, as a coach, you're pretty helpless, on that one. A lot of that is it's routine and having the stomach to get up there and to make them.
Gavin.
What were they doing to kind of slow Tyler down? He was 2 for 8 and had to take some hard shots.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, they're a quick athletic team and they just got into him. And, Tyler's got to get better with moving without the ball. Tyler's got to get better with using screens. Tyler's got to learn to stop rounding off his cuts and to make sharper cuts. And, Tyler, just from a personality standpoint, he needed to keep himself mentally in that game because, he had that kind of look on his face like the game was going bad for him. And now you have that broken play where he gets that trail 3, and he gets an opportunity to step into one and make a game-changing shot. And he put himself in a bad way because of his defense in the first half was really, really bad. He was driven a couple times and he carried that to the offensive end. But he's got to get better with moving and without the ball. Learn how to use screens better.
George.
Hey, Coach. 3 minutes in his last game, 2 minutes today. When can we start seeing a Cook take on more of a larger role in the offense and in the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, listen, what we're asking a Cook to do and what a Cook is wanting to do is it's a challenging situation because, like, he's a heart and soul. He's a pillar, of this thing. I mean, a Cook and Book are guys that, like, building blocks that we're building this thing around in year 3 to make this big move. And a Cook's not ready to be out there, physically. I thought getting him in there, up 14 was a good time, kind of similar to Butler. Gets driven, just kind of just so much rust and missed so much time. And we're going to really have to just try to develop him in practice and, and just get him in a place where maybe he could help us at some point this year, but really building, throughout this year into the summer, into the preseason, for a big second year from this. But, he's going to have a chance to help our team, but he's just so far behind, man. Less than a year back from the Achilles. He's really struggled while he's in there. And then we've also, just like the bench guys today. I mean, we were, minus 18, minus 10, minus 6, with those 3 bench guys there today. So, we've got it's a fine line right here because he wants to play and, we want him to play, but, it's less than a year from Achilles. It's tough situation.
Thanks.
Last one, Mike Anthony.
Yeah, Dan, without book night, just how complicated are in-game decisions trying to find that hot hand and ride that hot hand without the obvious option of your best player out there with you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem. I mean, and it's going to be a problem, and we could overcome that problem, but we can't give up 74 points. We've got to play elite defense. We've got to play elite defense, and we got beat to so many loose balls and offensive rebounds there that like we're not winning a game like today that's played in the 70s with some of the limitations that we have offensively. So, there's no one that could come anywhere close to filling the role that James can fill. But, we could still overcome it if we don't miss the free throws, if we don't get driven, if we don't get beat to the loose stuff. And we need more from some people to overcome it. But no, you take one of the best players in the country, off your team, that's going to cause a lot of problems when we don't have a lot of natural scorers.